So how do we, I'm interested in each of you, how do you gear the organisation to get through this time? You've had to adapt in that very sharp downturn, and then how do you make that trade-off between short-term, keeping an eye on things, and the longer term? So maybe Bernie, you're a good one to ask.
I think when the global financial crisis hit, I think the more of the same would get you more of the same. So there was a significant need to change the whole model. So we were fortunate enough to have a chairman that had an enormous visibility that actually saw it was coming well ahead of I think most other people, and he actually wrote a letter to the Reserve Bank to tell them that, and I think that sort of vision enabled us effectively to sort of prepare for it. So firstly, things like inventory management, the correct management of stock becomes ever so important. Your consumers are interested in a greater degree of value, no matter whether it's a $2,000 dress or whether it's a $10 picture frame. They want a greater degree of value because they're worried about the disposable income. And thirdly, you have to provide a reason to shop every day. So every day is a new day. What was yesterday's sales? Where previously you could run along and you get a natural growth and a natural benefit each day. So you've got to reinvent yourself, and you have to do it frequently. And so a short answer to the question is create a constant state of flux and live in it, because that's what your consumer is doing.
I knew it was dangerous, always going back into the shop. John?
Well, yeah, I think maybe some of the same themes as Bernie,
yep.
Although...
Can't have you agreeing too much, though.
No. Well, he's got a very different demographic that's shopping him, as one of those previous answers sort of outlined. For us, we've looked at the opportunity that it's presented. So certainly it's a pretty obvious thing that value becomes king. It probably was never any less than queen. So it's not far below the surface all the time, but it really promoting it strongly became a very obvious thing to do. In terms of shaping your business, we've tried to remain extremely positive. There's opportunities to be taken here. Firstly, if you don't have the stock, you can't sell it. And retail's about selling things, so we've remained very strong in our confidence that we'll have it and customers will want it, and we've presented the right value, we'll get the sale. Within our business, it's really hard to have fun saving money and doing more with less. It's a very hard thing to get your business and your teams to be focused on cost cutting. It's not a nice thing, but I think right at the moment you've got this great opportunity where everyone in your business gets the fact that if they can save more money, then people will save jobs. So 18 months or so ago we started something called Cost Busters, and we pulled $10 million out of our business last year just by having fun around saving costs and making that a real focal point.
How do you have fun around saving costs? How do you create that fun?
Well, you start by communicating it in a fun way. So gee, we would have announced this with the Ghostbusters theme, but we can't afford to waste $30,000 on a jingle, so we'll just all sing Ghostbusters, but with Costbusters in your head. Just have a bit of fun with those sorts of things. You know, property's cheaper relative than it's ever been. So location doesn't happen quickly. You've got to work at your locations. It takes you generally 2 to 3 to 4 years to bring good locations on. So we've really upped the ante on locations across the last 12 months, and our property team's been working very hard to get more sites. And as a result, we sit here today with a pipeline that's much stronger now than it was 12 months ago, and it wasn't weak 12 months ago. So there's actually, you could get too defensive. I'm not saying you can't think defensively, but you've got to still run your business. You've got to still get the top line working so you can pull through and have some success. And I think staying positive despite all of the negativity in the community and the broader business community was an important part of what's helped us stay quite resilient and present quite strong results.
Okay, good advice, and I look forward to hearing you sing Ghostbusters at some point.
It won't be today.
And Andrew, you actually announced that you're freezing your salaries as well at a certain level. So is that a signal as much as anything, or is it there's a financial element that is quite key?
No, it was a very, very interesting decision we made. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with our business. So our sales continue to pump along. Our comp store sales are doing well. And sort of when we read the media and the newspapers and you read my weekly sales and KPI reports, it's like day and night. So our big issue was, you know, is this going to stop? Is the steam going to come out? So we didn't freeze salaries. And the biggest thing the reason we did it was, or what we did, which I'll explain, is somehow to get the message that John was just talking about through to the lowest level in the organization, because we obviously believe in strategic alignment. So what we said is, if your salary is above $50,000, so we don't want to affect the people on the floor, here's your increase, it's X%, and you'll get it the month after the financial year end on condition that we make our budgeted profit, including the cost of the increase. Because the guys, you know, we were trying to say to everyone, there is a crisis out there, we have to watch every single cent, but how do you get the message to every single manager that makes a decision every single day? And this was a very effective way of doing it. So we're not saving the money, because if we obviously make the budgeted profit, and I think we will, everyone will get their salary increases backdated. But it's a sure important way, or sure a quick way of getting the message out there, because it affects your wallet next month. So we haven't necessarily frozen them, but we've said if things go wrong, and if we aren't quick enough as managers to react to them, yeah, you won't get this increase, and here's the letter so you know exactly how much it is. That was a very effective way, maybe from a more scary point of view or a fear point of view, of getting the message through the organisation.
It's good that you brought that up, because I'm interested in the three of you, your approach to leadership, your thinking, or do you think about leadership and how you lead in the organisation?
I think every day you do nothing else but think about what it is you're doing today and what template you establish for the rest of the business. And as much as, without sounding cocky, people look to you, particularly during times of difficulty, for how you respond to it, what your body language is, whether you step things up when things get tough. So to me, it's about making sure that you've got a high degree of competence in the organisation, and that includes the quality of the people. And if you don't have the quality of the people in the organisation, then you get rid of them. And as harsh as that sounds, we've churned in a large number of people in executive and management ranks that just haven't made the grade very, very quickly, a lot quicker than being a private equity company. We've got the facilities to do that a lot quicker. The second thing is that we need to create an environment of autonomy where you judge people with a great degree of accountability and provide an autonomy for them to perform very well, and give them, if you like, the loose type properties that they need.
How does that boil down to kind of pragmatics, if you like, to the person behind the counter?
That is, if you like, your type property. I think you establish guidelines and some understanding, but rewarding them for performance is a lot more important than dictating to them how they're going to do things. And you know, any organisation that prides itself on being driven by administrative excellence, I don't believe has got a long-term future. I think organisations have to drive themselves on a greater degree of autonomy and entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, where the individual has the ability to create their own future and, more importantly, create a success for the company. And if they do that, share the money with them. So it's a how do we reward, recognise, and how do we create autonomy? And the third bastion, I believe, is stepping up that level of communication. For me, leadership is about talking to your horse. It's about communicating in every means possible, whether it be email, whether it be presentations, but let the team know what the story is and let them align themselves to that story.
You were nodding quite vigorously there.
Well, there's a lot of things that are consistent. In tougher times, I think it's very important for the leadership group of any organisation to be more visible and to be stronger, and to be confident. It's very important to be confident at all times, but even more so when times are tough. So if there's any concern in your team, that they can look to the leadership and go, well, no, this is the direction we're heading. So communicating and articulating what you want to achieve, why it's important that it is achieved, and what it will look like when you get there, and how that will make us all stronger and better, becomes very important.
Even though you're not feeling perhaps very confident, it's kind of an interesting issue there around projecting a view.
Well, I can only speak for myself. There's not many days to wake up where I'm not feeling confident. But if you're seeing concerns about where the market might be heading, then you articulate that and you say, well, it looks like it might be a little bit indifferent. We're planning to win, and we're going to win by doing A, B and C. And when we do that, we'll all be more secure, our customers will be better off, and we'll deliver the returns we want. And by articulating that with strength and then walking the talk on it, so being in your business and being able to communicate face-to-face with wide numbers of people or through the other electronic means, you can actually really make sure that everyone gets the feeling that that's what's got to happen. And I think in these sort of times you need to have much more strength in the way that you bring your leadership.
Okay.
The on-the-business stuff is always present, you know, where the business needs to be tomorrow so it can continue to succeed. That's part of your everyday job. But being in the business so that the moment now is properly taken and driven and understood becomes a little bit more important in tough times, I think.
Okay, so you're out there a lot more.